everybody. Welcome to Searching for Goodness. Today I have writer and comedian Dana Olita. Dana is a writer, a stand-up comedian, and she is also a big animal rights activist. So Dana, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
So my first question is that we all know that laughter is the best medicine. And as a stand-up comedian, how does comedy contribute to goodness?
It's an interesting question. I think comedy is so important. I think without laughter, things die. So if you're in darkness, if you're always angry, like things inside of you can die. I kind of feel like you really need laughter just to bring joy to this world. And that's one of the reasons that I do stand-up comedy is I tend to make fun of myself. I make fun of my childhood. I make fun of my family. I never make fun of, outsiders, but I use that to find a common ground with other people and give them happy memories and make them laugh. I just think that there's something magical and special in laughter that you just can't get with any other emotion. It's a very different emotion.
Glad to hear it. I am from Philadelphia. Any East Coasters in the house? Right. I gotta look around and make sure my mom's not here, because if I'm gonna tell stories about my childhood, I gotta make sure she still doesn't know the shit that I did. I grew up in Philadelphia in the 70s, and that was some wild shit, okay? My parents were total hippies. I mean, you could not tell who was mom, who was dad from the back because they both had long hair down past their ass. Okay, they were usually stoned also. Now, we bought a house and it was something called the Help House in the 60s. And this was for people when they needed to crash and come down off their high. They found the local Help House and they were welcomed in. Yeah, my parents weren't that welcoming. But my brother's room had this really cool tree, parachutes, and parrots, and it was where you were supposed to go and have your good crash. Now, we didn't have a lock on the front door. This was very common in Philadelphia in the 70s. And people would just walk right in. We'd be in the middle of dinner and they'd be like, "Yo, dude, I'm coming to crash." And my mother's like, "No!" In retrospect, why didn't you just get a goddamn lock?
Well said. And clearly, evil is the opposite of goodness. And my question for you is, why is there so much evil in the world? And in today's climate, why are people minimizing and making excuses for people's wrongdoing?
Oh, there's a lot of evil in the world right now. I think people now, unlike any other time, are living in an echo chamber. They only want to hear certain things so they don't get to see reality. And when you just keep getting bombarded with the same thing, even if it's inaccurate, that becomes your reality because perception is reality. Sometimes it's easier to be dark. It's easier not to stand up and fight for the person who's kind of downtrodden and needs your help.
Don't let yourself be destroyed as Obi-Wan did.
It's easier to fall in line and boo somebody rather than to put your hand out and pull them up, because that kind of takes strength and that takes courage to actually get out of line and help somebody out. Politically, things are so charged, and it's an insane time that we're allowing darkness to permeate this entire government and take control of everything in this world. I mean, we're living in this crazy chaos that it's like every single day you get up and the news is, what happened today? What did he do today? What did they do today? And it's just over and over, and there's just that constant darkness and we're talking about stand-up comedy. Again, you got to come in somewhere and break up that darkness, because if you don't, fascism is coming back and all of these terrible darknesses are creeping in, and we just really have to stand up and not allow that to happen. And that's not easy.
It's not.
No.
And while we're dealing with that aspect of society, we're also dealing with another crisis, and that is climate change. And I want to also ask you, because part of our series, we talk and we confront the issues of climate change and global warming. And what are your thoughts about the climate crisis, and what can we do to make our environment better for the future?
I live by a philosophy that I like to call a million little things. And that's, I can't solve the big crises out there. I can't make rain come to Southern California. I can't stop the fires. But if I become cognizant of the world around me and all the things I can do to help, whether it's turning off the water when brushing your teeth, turning off the lights every time you leave a room, and, making sure that the house is sealed up tight so I don't have to use as much electricity. All those million little things, if everybody focused on the million little things, we could really help solve the 1, 2, 3 big things out there that are really killing our planet. Because we need this planet.
We need it bad.
Yeah.
And throughout our whole series, we explored goodness and saving animals, saving Antarctica, asking people's thoughts about birds, indigenous creatures. What else can we do as we go further in this series, and as we are searching for goodness?
I think there's a lot of goodness out there. The thing about people who really are good people doing good things, they don't tend to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm doing good. It's the evil person who raises their hand for attention. So you have to find those people who are just kind of quietly doing the right thing. And there really is a lot of them out there. A lot of times you can, ask others, and people are always happy to say, look at this person, what they're doing, and highlight that. Focus on something like, the firefighters, because we just went through this in Southern California, what amazing human beings they were. We had people who came from Mexico, from Canada, from other states. People just heard the call and put their lives in danger, which to me is mind-blowing, that when everybody else was running away, they ran to it. So, I look at people like that and I say, there's a lot more goodness in this world than people often realize. And
you hit it in the head, because the people who are doing good things do not go and pat themselves on the back.
Right.
You don't see police officers broadcasting like, oh, look guys, I caught this bad guy. This bad guy's in jail. Or firefighters, hey, we saved this house.
Right.
Or people fostering animals. They don't, we just helped this animal give it a new home. It's just they just do it because they just know that it's the right thing to do, and they don't need to brag to everybody.
Right.
They just know that this is just a way of life.
Right. I think good people have a moral compass that just directs them to do the right thing, and they don't need attention because it's how they live their life.
Dana, I'd like to get your thoughts on DEI.
I don't think you should call it DEI. See, I think if we would make everybody stop and address it in its proper term and say minorities, women, and the disabled, that it wouldn't sound like such a horrible, scary thing. Women, we're all DEI, technically, if you want to use that term, and I think a lot of women, I laugh when I see these women against DEI because you're part of that group, Basically, anybody who's not a straight white person, white male, is DEI. So, it's a terrible term. Let's just use minorities, women, and the disabled.
Dana, you are a very active writer, and please talk to our audience about some of your work and share it.
I have a tendency to write very politically charged things. I currently have a short that's about to go into production called Coyote, which is very much a women's story about bodily autonomy and the freedom to control your own body, which is a very important topic to me. Yes, as we talked about, I'm very woke, and I think it's really important for film writers, screenwriters, whatever you are, an artist, to be able to get out and bring these important things to light, because unfortunately there are a group of men out there that are very happy to take away women's rights. And I'm not going to go down quietly. I will go kicking and screaming. I'm not donning my red habit and living the Handmaid's Tale. That's not going to happen.
They believed that these garments that they put on our bodies told the world who we are. To mark us, they put us in red, the color of blood. They forgot that it's also the color of rage. The dress became our uniform. And we became an army.
That's not going to happen. So we need all the women out there to band together, and it doesn't matter whether whether you're somebody who believes in abortion per se, but you should always believe in the right to control your own body. Whether it's a man or a woman, I should have no say in what happens to your body. It's your body. You should have no say what happens to mine. It's just how we should all be living. So yeah, I do like to write a lot of political stuff, whether it's women's rights, whether it's politics, whether it's minority issues. That's just how I like to write.
Awesome. You mentioned that your writing is politically charged. In today's climate, what can we do to continue to keep our eyes open and to stay resilient?
The most important thing is do not go gently into that good night. Right now, everybody has to stay hyper-focused and aware. We are standing at the crossroads of exactly where 1940s Germany stood. And people were silent, and people just went, well, that's not going to happen to me. When they came for one group, they said, oh, it's not going to happen to me. Well, eventually they're going to run out of groups, and they're coming for you. So be loud, be vocal, whether it's out there marching, whether it's being online and making a constant presence out there. Like, I like to get facts out there all the time, whether it's Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram. I am commenting left and right, and I am citing facts, and I am attaching news articles, because I'm not just going to live in this echo chamber of false news. So it's important to be very vocal. Don't stop being vocal, no matter who you are.
Don't stay silent.
Absolutely.
And goodness will win.
And laughter is really good.
Now, it's really interesting. When I moved out here, I discovered that there are a lot of differences between Philly and LA. A lot. And the biggest one is these car chases. You ever notice there's no traffic around them whenever they're going? And I'm like, everywhere I go in LA, I'm like gridlocked in. You see these police chases, and it's like nothing but open road. I'm like, I'm going driving there. Where are they?
Check out Dana Olita's work. Where can people find you?
I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Blue Sky, I'm on Instagram, Dana Olita Ogden. You'll find me everywhere.
Check her out, and we're going to look at this camera, and after we say 3, 2, 1, we say goodness will win.
Okay?
3, 2, 1. Goodness will win. Please subscribe on our YouTube channel. Please like, share, and keep watching.
Good morning to you.